What happened to Super Monkey Ball? I'm sure you're familiar with the franchise, the unique games where you roll around as a monkey in a ball. Super Monkey Ball was originally an arcade game, but it saw home console release as a launch title for the GameCube. The game sold well and it was the first Sega game on a Nintendo console. Starring all the lovable monkeys of Ai, Mimi, Baby and Gongon, the game features over 100 levels full of bananas and challenges. And yes, there is challenges. Seriously, this game is brutal. Don't let speedruns tell you otherwise. The appeal to Super Monkey Ball is mastering the mechanics, and in turn mastering the levels. The levels were so well made and they'd really show off the intricacy of being a monkey in a ball. If you want a break from this, then there's always the party games. The party games have become iconic with the franchise. Everyone loves Monkey Target. They could release a £5 app that just consists of Monkey Target and it would sell like crazy. It's just that fun. Monkey Race and Monkey Fight are also great. You have Monkey Race for the high speed thrills and Monkey Fight for those intense 1v1s. The sequel perfects everything. Better graphics, sound, over 150 levels and 12 party games. Super Monkey Ball 2 is everything a sequel should be. It built upon the groundwork the original started and fixed any and all issues the original had. If you ask someone what their favourite Monkey Ball game is, they will most likely say the second one. And for good reason, the levels are much more skillfully crafted and the story mode really shows this off. Yeah, you heard that right, there is a story mode. The levels throughout gradually get harder and harder, which eases the player into the more difficult parts of the game. The story itself always makes me laugh. Our main villain, Dr. Bad Boon, comes from the future and tries to stop Mimi from marrying Ai. Dr. Bad Boon steals all of the bananas from Monkey Island and swears to make them all taste like curry. Ultimately, he is stopped, but this plot is so stupid, like, Baby comes from the future. Like, what? The party games within Monkey Ball 2 are really good, like really good. Everything returns from the first, but they're much more in depth and have been expanded upon greatly. The new party games are also great. I don't have much time on Monkey Boat or Monkey Dogfight, but baseball, tennis, shot and Monkey Soccer have eaten up so much of my time. I used to play the party games with my friends because they're just that good. We'd happily play them for hours without even thinking of changing the disc. So, what happened? Where did the series go wrong? After the second game, there wasn't another Monkey Ball for 3 years. This was Super Monkey Ball Deluxe, being a compilation of nearly everything from the first and second game. And this was received fairly well. It was the Super Monkey Ball I grew up with, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. But this wasn't a new game. The newest Super Monkey Ball was released months later, and is known as Super Monkey Ball Touch and Roll. Now, I haven't actually played this one, and it doesn't look all that good to be honest. Like, it looks impressive for an early DS title, and it looks quite easy when compared to the other games. Now, I don't know if there's some crazy levels later on, but the overall difficulty doesn't seem that high. It received mediocre reviews with many criticising the controls, so maybe that adds into the difficulty. Even though this game isn't that important, it marks a transition in the Super Monkey Ball franchise. A transition that nearly killed the series. This game was the start of Monkey Ball becoming a gimmick franchise. Don't believe me? Let's take a look at the next game. Super Monkey Ball Adventure is arguably the worst game in the series. I played this game when I was younger and I just remember it being so boring. Fun fact, I actually swapped the PSP UMD case so it would hold another game. I hated this game that much. Okay, so what's the issue with it? So, the adventure part of the game is just really confusing. I never knew where to go or what to do because this game doesn't do a good job of explaining that. There's missions for you to do across the hub worlds and they're so bland, and to be honest, they're really hard as well. Maybe it was because I was young, but I remember getting stuck on Zootopia. It's so hard to navigate around these claustrophobic environments when you're in a ball. And the monkeys, their voices are so annoying. I don't want to speak to these bland ass monkeys. I want to roll around puzzle-like environments and collect bananas. Okay, so the traditional Monkey Ball levels are here, but they're really bad. They're just not designed very well and lack the finesse of the previous entries. It doesn't help that this game doesn't even have 50 stages, it has 49. The game came out after Monkey Ball 2 and it doesn't have half the levels. You know, I get it, the main focus was the adventure mode, but the adventure mode sucks! It's just hard and boring. The appeal to Monkey Ball is the challenging simplicity, if that makes sense. The original games were simple in concept, but challenging in execution, but the adventure mode is just downright hard and complicated. And then if you want to take a break from the adventure mode, you have 49 stages to play. Like, what? There are party games here too. I remember they were fine. I don't really have anything to say about them. There's less of them, but I remember they were good. There's even 20 characters that you can play as, which is pretty cool. Okay, so the gimmick in Touch and Roll was the DS control scheme, and the gimmick in Adventure was the adventure mode. So, what is the gimmick in Banana Blitz? Well, it's the Wii Remote. Now, I haven't played this game, but it was received well by critics, and it sold well too. That may be due to the fact it was a launch title, but... And I'm sorry for using Metacritic! If we go on Metacritic, we can see that the user score is average, and there's a lot of negative reviews. Apparently, the controls are kinda weird, and to compensate for this, Sega added a jump mechanic. Also, there's bosses within the main game. That's a thing. There are 50 minigames. 50? Like, I know Adventure had 6, which was a step down from Monkey Ball 2, but 50? Like, how can you be bothered to play them all? I imagine a lot of them are average or bad, but I don't know, I haven't played it. So, what does Sega do with this kind of successful concept? Make it so the next one you have to use the frickin' Wii balance board. Now, I haven't played this one either. Why am I even doing a video on Monkey Ball if I haven't played any of them? But this actually sounds like the worst idea. The reviews were average and it didn't sell nearly as well as Banana Blitz. I've looked up gameplay and it just looks boring and easy. It doesn't look like a bad game, it just looks alright. They also cut down the minigames, which I imagine was a much needed improvement. So, Banana Blitz and Step and Roll were released 4 years apart, and in between this time, Sega decided to release 5 mobile Monkey Ball games. I'm just going to lightly brush upon these, but yes, there are gimmicks in all of them. To start, we have Super Monkey Ball Tip and Tilt, which was released in 2007. The main aim in this game was to get the monkeys to the bottom of the screen using tilting platforms. I'm not going to give this one too much slack because it was a mobile game, but yeah, it changed the core mechanics once again. A sequel for this game was released in 2008, and I imagine it was the same thing. Next, there was Super Monkey Ball for iOS. This was released in 2008, and its sequel was released in 2009. These have actually been removed from the App Store, apparently because Sega wanted a shift in game standards. Maybe these games were bad? I don't know. I imagine the gimmick was the gyro controls, but I'm just making assumptions. I haven't played these games. Sorry! The 5th mobile Monkey Ball game they released was just an updated version of Monkey Ball 2 iOS edition that featured Sakura trees. Yeah, the game is literally called Super Monkey Ball 2 Sakura Edition. Am I missing something here? It was released to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Monkey Ball, which is actually a really sad way to celebrate. So, after Step and Roll, what happened? Well, they released a ticket machine arcade game. Yes, that's a thing. Okay, I don't really have anything to say about this. It's quite harmless, but once again, it highlights the gimmick that Super Monkey Ball has become. I get it, in Japan they have arcade games for everything, but, you know, at this point there hasn't been a good game in years, and they released this, like, okay. So, after the ticket machine, what's next? Super Monkey Ball 3D! This game received mediocre reviews. This game was actually a launch title for everywhere but Japan, and once again, I haven't played it. I was actually going to buy it ages ago because it's ridiculously cheap, but it just looks so average. It honestly looks like all the fun from the previous games was just sucked out. There's only 3 game modes! The traditional Monkey Ball puzzle stages, Monkey Race, and Monkey Fight. What? There's 16 characters to play as, great, but they took away nearly all the party games and gave 2 their own special mode? It just seems like a mess. There's 3 things to do. We went from 21 party games in Step and Roll to 2. They didn't even include Monkey Target. It's just lazy. I imagine they thought that this game would sell like wildfire, and for this reason I'm gonna say the gimmick was the 3D. You can use the gyroscope too, but you can also use the gyroscope in previous games and in the following game I'm going to talk about. So, the second to last game that has been released is one that I've actually played. This game is actually good, I enjoy it a lot. This game is Super Monkey Ball Banana Splits. Released on the PS Vita, this game didn't sell that well, but I would argue it plays the most like a traditional Monkey Ball game than any other game I mentioned. Within this game we have no added characters, it's purely just I, me, Gon, and the baby, and yes, baby is in this game. The levels are really challenging as well, and I really like the art style. It is one of the most challenging platinum trophies if you're into that, because not only do you have to complete the game without using a continue, but you also have to collect every banana and complete nearly every level with the gyroscope. The game has over 100 levels, and the player can make their own levels with the PS Vita's camera. The minigames here are also great, there's 8 of them and some of them are okay, but hey, Monkey Target's back! Okay, so the final game is Super Monkey Ball Banana Bounce, released in 2014 for Android and iOS. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one because it has been removed from app stores. The game was a Peggle, Pachinko style game. Yeah, another gimmick and nothing to write home about. Whew. That was a lot of games, but I still haven't answered the questions of what happened and where did the series go wrong. Starting with what happened, I think that series creator Toshihiro Nagoshi, I hope I said that right, I think he decided to jump ship and work on his Yakuza franchise. If we compare the two series, we can see that when Yakuza started to get released, that was the start of Monkey Ball becoming gimmicky and having an identity crisis. The series didn't know what it wanted to be, and the creator wasn't there to help it along. I don't have any evidence to support this, but it would make sense. Probably due to a lack of interest, the Yakuza franchise has taken his focus, and in turn, Monkey Ball has suffered. Maybe he thought that he had exhausted what Monkey Ball had to offer, but who knows. Finally, where did the series go wrong? Now, I believe the series went wrong when they outsourced to Traveller's Tales during Super Monkey Ball Adventure. Traveller's Tales were responsible for Sonic 3D Blast and Sonic R, which are obviously two Sonic spin-offs. As they're spin-offs, they don't really have to focus on what made Sonic the Hedgehog great, but the problem with Monkey Ball Adventure is that it was the next true installment in the franchise after 4 years. It had to be great, and it wasn't. Instead we got an adventure mode nobody asked for, and the game was really hard. Now, they could have easily redeemed the franchise with the next installment, but they decided to incorporate more gimmicks into Banana Blitz, resulting in the series not having a major game for 4 years. It's really sad what happened to Monkey Ball. I enjoy going back to the first and second game and just having fun. The appeal to the series has always been the simplistic puzzle-like challenges, but starting at Super Monkey Ball Adventure, this series lost its way. Now, I'm not saying that you can't like certain games or that you have to like certain games, I'm just stating what I believe. Oh, and before anyone comments, I know that I missed out a game, a Super Monkey Ball game for the Game Boy and the N-Gage, but it wasn't really relevant to what I was talking about, so I decided to skip it. Okay, let's move on. I hope we see another Monkey Ball game in the future. This series has a strong community online and the speedruns for this game are insane. It's definitely got a cult following, and I think if they went back to the series' roots, much like in Banana Splits, then maybe, just maybe, the series could return to former glory. I still believe this series has lots of potential. It's sad that kids these days most likely haven't experienced how frustrated you can get by playing such a cute game. Now this is a really weird point to end it on, but September this year I went to Alton Towers, which is a big theme park in the UK, and there were Super Monkey Ball plushes. Seriously, I was shocked. There hasn't been a game in years, but people must be interested if they're still making plushes. Okay, so thanks for watching guys, it was quite long and I put in a lot of work. I hope you enjoyed learning about Monkey Ball's history. I sure learned a lot from making this. Thanks for watching, take care, I'll see you next time, and let's hope for another Monkey Ball game. Bye!